The lies we tell ourselves are the ghosts that haunt the empty house of midnight. There you go. That's from
There it
Shantaram.
is.
Chills right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hello and welcome to a very special edition of the Movie Podcast. My name is Daniel, and joining alongside me today, you know him well. His name is Shahbaz. Hello, Shahbaz. How are you?
Daniel, I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on our own show.
Yes, it's always a pleasure whenever we get to do, this is like our 450th episode.
Jeez.
I think by this point, we're over 450, by the way. By this point, I think you're just a main member of the team, I think, right?
Wow.
I think
I
that's
mean,
what's,
it's about
what we
time.
should do.
It's about time.
Yeah, it's about time. It's definitely about time. Shay, how's your day going, though?
Doing great. We had some fantastic interviews today, and I'm really, really excited to talk about them because these are some people that we've been seeing their work for quite some time. We've seen them pop
Right.
up here and there, and now to see them in a show that you and I are really enjoying, it's a pleasure.
It is a pleasure. Today on the Movie Podcast, we are delighted to welcome a large group of special guests today. It's not just one. It's not just two. Guess what? It's not just three. It's four. It is four special guests joining us today because today we are talking all about the Apple TV Plus original show, Shantaram, and we have some of the stars joining us very, very soon. First, I want to say, thank you to Apple TV Plus for making this happen for us. We really are enjoying the show. I know Anthony's really enjoying the show as well, too. It is a weekly show. It premiered on October 14th on Apple TV Plus, and new episodes are airing every Friday. So definitely go check it out. Episode 6 is out today. So go catch up on the series if you haven't started it yet. You're going to really enjoy it. The series stars CHARLIE HUNNAM. And guess who's on the show today, Shay?
Is
You
it
wanna
Charlie
guess?
Hunnam?
I you know what? I think, I'm just going to tell you. Of course it's CHARLIE HUNNAM. We have
I
CHARLIE
didn't read-
HUNNAM.
I didn't read the
It's
name
true.
of the episode. That's my fault.
You didn't read the name of the episode. That's totally okay. And it's not just CHARLIE HUNNAM. With Charlie today, we have SHUBHAM Saraf, who's joining us as well, too. We had an awesome conversation with them. And then our second interview that we'll have today is with Antonio Desplat and Elektra Kilbey. So we had a whole group of incredible interviews today, and we cannot wait to get to them. But before we do that, I do want to run through some housekeeping. As always, you can catch a brand new episode of the Movie Podcast every single Monday. We have a brand new episode out this week talking about James Gunn taking over DC Studios, Henry Cavill leaving The Witcher, the Avatar length being over 3 hours. We have a lot of fun on this episode, so definitely go check it out. We also have our God of War Ragnarok review out, which you can listen to right now. We love the game. We can't wait to talk about it, and we're definitely going to have some more episodes dedicated to it, so look forward to that. Throughout the next week, you will also get our Black Panther Wakanda Forever review. You'll get some Mythic Quest interviews and our review of it, and a lot more. So there's so much to listen to, so much to be excited about, so look forward to all of that on the Movie Podcast feed. And if you're watching us here on YouTube, please like, subscribe, ring that notification bell. We'd love to have you. Shay, tell us what's going on in Discord right now.
Discord is popping. As usual, it is hot in there. We're having some great conversations. We're talking about some of the shows that are out right now. Like we have Andor, that's pretty much a weekly release, and a lot of great conversations there. House of Dragons was just wrapped up its finale, so I'm gonna have to eventually close that room and say bye-bye. But we've been having some great times. I've been doing this question of the week thing as well, and this week I kind of asked, what are some fall favorite films that you love that that resonate with you as, okay, this is what my comfort movie is. I think was it on the show, or did we ask Anthony outside of the show and he said The Exorcist, and I was a little concerned about that.
I was a little scared, I'll be honest with you, but it was also leading up to Halloween, which also happened this week. So I totally get it. Anthony, his warm and cozy side is, it's just knives.
It's just hell.
And hell. So I totally get it. We're totally kidding. Anthony, we love you. But Discord, please go join it. These episodes of the Movie Podcast may end, but the conversation does not have to stop there. This show, I think, it's very cool. We always talk about the quality of Apple TV Plus. And this show, again, is no exception. This show looks beautiful. It has incredible performances for it. What's been your favorite part so far?
It's kind of seeing this world that is going through a lot. This show takes place in India, and it takes place in a very small, I guess you could say, village. And through that, you get to see real people. It feels like everything just feels very authentic, and Apple has
It
a really
does.
good way of either casting the right people, but also finding the right locales. I know that this show went through, the pandemic of being filmed as well, so there's all these ups and downs. But I do believe they did end up recording in India. Filming in India. Recording makes it
They
sound like
probably
they
recorded
did.
too.
Yeah, they probably recorded and filmed it. They didn't do them separately. Like, it's not the old days anymore. So it's nice that, when we're talking to Antonia about it, and even Elektra, they were like, yeah, this was like a bucket list for us to go to India, and like, here we are. So that was really cool. It was a really good experience to see the really raw, real side of things in a scripted television show.
Yeah, you totally nailed it. And I think the timing that that the show takes place in, it feels very much like a film, is in like the early '80s. So it's a very interesting time. And the show is also based off the novel, which is a extremely popular novel too. So to be able to explore that in a series, I think, is always something we talk about. Where book to movie adaptations don't always work, but when you're really able to explore and get inside the mind of Charlie's character Lin, I think this show does such an amazing job with it. So without further ado, please welcome Charlie Hunnam and Shubham Saraf to the Movie Podcast. Charlie, Shubham, thank you so much for your time today. We are such big fans of both of yours in this show. You're both phenomenal in it, and we are very excited to see where it goes from here. Charlie, I'd be remiss if I didn't say how much we loved you in The Gentleman as well, too. It's one of our favorite films of the last few years, and my sister Jessica I couldn't face her again if I didn't tell you how much she loves you in Sons of Anarchy. So got to say that as well,
thank
too.
you.
At the very beginning of the show, your character is, faced with a choice of, escape or die. What was it about Lin that you really wanted to dive into? What drew you to the character and really made you want to explore him over the series?
First and foremost, the novel that this TV show is based on is pretty extraordinary. It's a sort of 980-page odyssey through India and Afghanistan, and over a course of a period of 10 years, where this fairly young, regular guy who'd just gotten himself into trouble ends up fleeing to India and sort of has a coming-of-age spiritual awakening, and the sort of willing adoption of responsibility in his life, and goes on this incredible journey. So all of it, ultimately, the breadth of this source material is really extraordinary, and it goes on a pretty incredible journey. So if this thing is successful, and hopefully we'll get to go back and tell another chapter of this. But initially, the first season, what I wanted to do with Lin is just to make him as regular and neutral as possible, so that we could, he would just be relatable to the audience. You can recognize, hopefully, oneself in him, and not sort of have too much baggage with him initially, so that we could take him on the full journey.
Right, and I think you see that especially because we have so much time to spend with him, so we could really develop a lot of the characters that we've got on the show. And there's a lot of incredible and deep characters that we've been introduced to so far.
Now, Shubham, for yourself, there's a moment in the show where Lin is in a club, they're listening to some ghazals. I have to ask, do you listen, and did you bring any to Charlie? Like, hey, listen, these are some of the ones you got to listen to.
I wish. I had no idea. I was because I think the ghazal stuff, was it done before I came on? I can't remember. It's a whole scrambled egg situation. But no, I only saw the ghazal thing, a ghazal bit after it was released when I saw the episode. And I thought it was beautiful.
Yeah, very beautiful scene.
I would have loved to I think I listened to so much sort of Sufi music,
right.
Abida Parveen and all that stuff.
Of course.
And I would have loved to have been like, guys, listen to this and this and this. But I think, rights is an issue and stuff. But I was like amazed by like the scene that came out. I was like, it's beautiful.
Yeah, because it starts.
I should have. I should have sent you bloody Sufi music.
Now you can.
Now.
Yes.
Now you'll have to listen to it.
Charlie, for yourself, there's the narration throughout this whole series. You do an amazing job of it, and there's so many great quotes that you kind of pull out. Is there one that really stuck out to you when you were narrating?
Oh goodness! I'm
narrating.
I'm very familiar with this novel. I've read it many times. I'm drawing a blank right now.
Quote,
this is
10 a.m. Totally,
jet lag.
I get it.
First interview of the day. I just had COVID, so my brain's not working very well. And I cannot think of a single. You really put me in it, because
I know.
Greg, wrote some very quote-worthy prose in that book, but I can't remember them.
That's fine.
So, can you remember anything?
The smell of
10,000
10,000
temples,
temples.
20,000 restaurants,
Yeah.
3,000 gods.
See?
That's the smell of hope.
All coming
There
back.
you
It all
go.
comes back.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
this
like
is-
the one quote I remember.
Yeah.
Like hardly. I read it when I was like 15, so it's this sort of myth in my head. It's
What is it? The lies we tell ourselves are the ghosts that haunt the empty house of midnight. There you go. That's what
There,
Shantaram.
that's right. It is.
Chills right now.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah,
It's
that's
phenomenal.
amazing.
Yeah, it's. I think just like as you said, like the novel. So it's so deep. There's just a well of quotes to pull from. So no worries on that. Shubham, for yourself, probably was the first character that Lin meets when he arrives in India. How much room were you given to really explore who that character was and make him your own?
That's one of the things I enjoyed most about working on this. Was it was such a collaborative experience. I think often to sort of the annoyance of Steve and you, because I was like, maybe I could I try this, and then like, yeah, go on.
Yeah. I mean, we don't want to get into semantics, but there is a slight difference between given and taken.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's
Shubs
it's
will.
up for debate. I would say I was given. Some people might say I took, but it's all give and take. you
Right.
know? But I sort of took the freedom and ran with it, and it was really fun. I had like the time of my life, and that's all I was trying to do. And I think that is the sort of connect between at least Prabhu and me, is that he's just trying to have a good time, and I was like, yeah, I'll have a good time. I'll use these words. I'll have a good time. And let's see what happens. And it sort of just came out one word at a time.
No, you see that. You see the experience and the fun you guys brought to this. We're so excited to see how the show wraps up, and we really hope we get to see you both back for season 2. So thank you, Charlie,
so too,
and Shubham, for your time again today. We are so grateful.
Thank you.
so much,
Thank
Mike.
you.
Thank you.
Right on.
And now, let's get to our interview with Antonio Desplat and Elektra Kilbey.
Antonia, Elektra, thank you so much for joining us today. We absolutely love the show, and we think both your performances are very electrifying.
Oh, no pun intended.
So I gotta ask, Antonia, for yourself, you began shooting this show in 2019. What are your first few memories from the beginning of shooting, and how did you kind of like form who Carla was during that time?
It happened so quickly in 2019, and so what really stayed with me was India, because I'd never been to India, and it was always my dream to go to India. So when I saw that this job was shooting in India, and it was such an incredible character, I was so ecstatic about the show. And then I was also very grateful about the hiatus, because I think everything happened so quickly, and for me this is my first major female character. And I was so filled with anxiety and fear of not giving that character justice, particularly when it's based on a very famous book and a famous character. No pressure. So I think to have 14 months to sort of digest that information, for me to grow as a person too, because I think the pandemic made us all evolve in certain ways, and we sat with ourselves for quite a long time. And I felt that this time made me come back to the character in a much more subtle and grounded way, and I was very grateful for that, because Carla is so grounded. She's very mature, she's very calm on the outside, and I think if we had my sort of very stressed out, anxious energy, that would not particularly have worked for the character. So it took the time that it needed, and I'm very grateful that we had that time.
Yeah, you definitely see that in both your characters for sure. Yeah.
Elektra, for yourself, Lisa and Lin become very fast friends when he arrives in India. How much room were you given that to work with Charlie and figure out what their relationship was, and also develop Lisa over a series?
Well, we met back in 2019 when we started the show, so that was nice to have had that experience and been through that together, and going to India and doing all those things together. So that was really great. And I think in terms of their characters, I think Lin and Lisa probably have the most in common out of everyone. Lisa is where he was just before, so I think he sees himself in her, and I think that's also maybe why he's a little bit like, whoa, get away from me a little bit. Lisa's arc throughout the season is really interesting, because she starts at rock bottom and she works herself up and takes agency over her life,
Right.
and she tries to create like a Lisa Incorporated, and she's inspired by Carla. And I think she realizes if she wants to survive, and survive without drugs and without things numbing her, she has to take more control.
Yeah, and I love that you made that connection with where Lin was before, and I think their relationship. I think it's so interesting to see that develop over time, and hopefully, as the show continues on in the future too. Antonio, for yourself,
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Antonio, for yourself, Carla operates very much in a gray area. Was there anything from her character that you resonated with, or is there something from her that you've now taken with you and applied in your own life?
Both. I think I brought some of my vulnerability to Carla, because I get in our show there's an opportunity for her to have private moments where she breaks down her wall, and finally we see the true vulnerable self of Carla. And I think I took away from Carla her independence and her sort of her strength, because she's very independent, because she obviously doesn't want to be dependent on anybody else. So she is her own boss in that sense, and I think I learned a lot from that.
Yeah, there's definitely like an intimidating factor that your character kind of brings, especially when you're forming that relationship with Elektra's character Lisa. Like, what was that like when you're trying to find that pairing between each other? Because you care for her a lot, you look after her a lot in the show.
I do, and I think it's a sisterhood relationship, and we're super, super close in real life. So that's really nice, because I think that transcends on screen very easily. But I think with Lisa, Carla's still in control of the situation.
She thinks.
Yeah, but as in, I tell you off, I tell you what to do. And I think it's only with Lin that she's not in that situation. But with everybody else, she's trying to assert her power. And even though their relationship is beautiful, and, Carla can show her true self in front of Lisa, there's still a dynamic where Carla has to put some power on Lisa.
Right.
And because she believes that power is going to save her from being hurt, and love will destroy her. So.
And I think that Lisa is, in a weird way, Carla's conscience. She keeps giving her these truths, even from moments of deep kind of misery. She keeps giving Carla truths, and I just don't think that Carla's ready to hear them in this season, or I think maybe towards the end we'll see.
Yeah, well, yeah, we'll definitely have to see, and we can't wait for everyone to see the show, especially where it's going to be going, and hopefully we do see the second season or something come out of it too. But thank you again so much for sharing your time with us today. We had an absolute blast, and love your work as well.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
And we are back. Daniel, some inside baseball here. We're some of the first people to talk to Charlie and Shubham, and also Antonia and Elektra. How did you feel the environment was when we kind of got in and started talking to them? Because it's Halloween day when we were chatting with them. So how did you feel about all that?
No, it was great. I think the energy was great. I think because we were those first people, we're kind of setting the tone for the day, and I think we like to bring a great presence to wherever we are. I regret not bringing them like little Halloween loot bags or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's just of Canadian candy, but it's totally okay.
I'm sure they would have been
I'm saying it.
They're like, hey, no, you can't bring this in.
No, don't give them anything.
Yeah.
No, but it was great. And I think, while we were waiting there, especially with Charlie and Shubham, we were waiting for, to get to green light to let's start filming. So we were just getting to, hang out for like 10 minutes while they were setting up and just talking to them, getting to know them. They got to know us. And it's very cool when you have like those little moments, because this was an in-person interview.
Yeah.
This wasn't a virtual one. So when you're in that environment with them, it's just very cool to feed off their energy, really connect with them. They're not looking at a screen. Again, we love virtual junkets. We love being part of them, but having that in-person option is always very, very, very cool. So we'll always say yes to those.
It's amazing, because again, we get to break down that wall, because sometimes, you're thrust into a room and it's like, all right, you have 5 minutes to talk to these people. And you're not just talking to like a person you just met on the street. This is a celebrity that you've been watching their movies, their shows, etc.
Right.
So to kind of go in, it can be sometimes nerve-wracking and just a little bit like,
oh yeah,
whoa, what's going on? So to ease in, kind of have that conversation, just talking to them, it was awesome. We got to learn so much about Charlie's past, his life, and we were talking about how a lot of the cities here in Toronto, in Ontario GTA, are very similar and well named after a lot of places that are in the UK. So we were just kind of joking. I'm like, okay, so is this city kind of like this city in the UK? Yeah, the exact same kind of people, same demographics, same like this.
Yeah,
So it's just kind of
it's
funny
cool.
seeing that parallel that we all share.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I think, going to Antonia and Elektra, they just had such a cool vibe. They're so great in the show as well, too. So just being able to, just get to know them and, spend, the 6 minutes that we were with them, it was a lot of fun. They're such fun people. And I'm just so excited to see where they go from here, right?
Yeah.
Like there's so much opportunity, for them to grow as actors, to grow as artists. And I'm just so excited to see, hopefully the show gets another season because I'm really, really enjoying it. And I'm really want to see, okay, what else do they go from here? What other roles do they get? And I really hope that we get to talk to them again because they were just awesome.
They're the
Again,
coolest.
The show we are talking about is Shantaram. It is on Apple TV Plus. It is an original show. Another home run for Apple when it comes to original shows and films that they have on their platform right now. So definitely watch it. Episode 6 is out today. It is airing every single Friday. Go check it out. You won't regret us. Let us know what you think of it. And as always, this is the Movie Podcast. You can catch a brand new episode every single Monday. And watch out throughout the week for our reviews and interviews and all the latest movies and series. Like I said at the top of the show, lots to look forward to. Our God of War Ragnarok review is out now. We have lots of Wakanda Forever interviews and reviews coming your way. And you know what? Who knows who else is going to be showing up on the show because we have lots of fun stuff planned for you. November is here. You don't want to miss a thing that we're doing. I think Aerosmith said it best.
That was
right?
an Aerosmith reference, wasn't it? But they're not
It
on
was.
the show.
They're not on the show.
Are
Not yet.
they?
You have to tune in to find out. And of course, make sure you're following us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Letterboxd. Join our Discord and subscribe to us on YouTube. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us today. I want to say thank you again to our friends at Apple TV Plus for making this happen for us. We love working with them, and we love the shows and movies they have on that platform, so definitely check it out. And like we said, check out Mubi. There are some incredible, incredible films, and we want to make sure that you take advantage of this awesome promotion we have going on with them. 1 month free of incredible cinema. You don't want to miss it. That was This Time with the Movie Podcast, and we'll see you next.